We are live tonight. And first thing I want to say, have you seen Gosnell? I mean, have you? Were you one of the people who saw it on opening weekend? If the answer to that question is no, you need to stop what you're doing right now and just go see it. First listen to the podcast. You know what? Actually, no. That's more important. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop listening to this and go watch Gosnell. But if that wasn't enough to convince you, maybe our interview with one of the stars of Gosnell, Dominique Deon, will get you to finally go see Gosnell. All of this on this episode of Trend Chat.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to another episode of Trend Chat. I'm your host, Brian Bledsoe, and if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. Yep. It's all the same name at trendchat247.com. So, as I mentioned, if you're still listening to this and you haven't went to see Gosnell, shame on you. But if not, listen in. And like I said, we'll have our interview with Dominique Deon. And hopefully, after that interview, you will be convinced and want to see Gosnell. It was a great movie, and it did very well, especially for an independent film, and especially with all the obstacles that was in front of it, with Hollywood not wanting to see it, just media basically being silent on the movie, and it still was in the top 10 at number 10. But like I said, with all that was against it, and for it to still get in the top 10, that is great. And so, like I said, it is still in theaters, and I can't say enough to check it out and bring your, pro-choice friends to watch it and to understand what is going on. Actually, in our interview with Dominique, she shares something about her experience and how it, how it molded in her views and how things changed in her mind as far as realizing what abortion is all about. So again, like I say, I can't say it enough, to really go out and support this movie. But before we get to that, first off, the president just finished a rally in Montana, as of this recording, at least when you're hearing this. And I'm thinking about maybe attending the one in Houston on the 22nd of October. It all just depends if I can get down there in time, because we're broadcasting tonight from Omaha, Nebraska, which actually I've been here for a week now. Yeah, it will be a week tomorrow. So, as it says in the intro, from the highways of America. So we are like transitioning to drive for another company. So that took a couple of days to go through orientation and all that. And then now I'm finally getting back on the road. And so it's a lot better situation that we were in the past couple of months. I know I haven't talked much about it on here. Mainly just, if I did, I'd just be complaining a whole lot. So, but it wasn't great. And so things have changed now, and I think we are, we're part of a much better company now and a lot better equipment and everything. Anyway, don't want to bore you with all those details, but I'm just saying that's where we're at now, and we're here in Omaha, and hopefully tomorrow will be somewhere else because, like I said, I've been here all week. Nothing against Omaha. I've just been in this hotel and just I'm a truck driver, so I'm used to moving a lot. So so yeah. But that being said, the reason I mentioned that is because hopefully I am able to get down to Texas in time, not only to go out and do some block walking for a little bit, and also be down in Houston for the rally, and also starting on the 22nd is the first day of early voting in Texas, at least. So hopefully to kind of want to get all that done before I start getting back on the road really for a longer period of time. So, but that's what we're scheduling to do for the next couple of days. And if I get there, obviously I will talk about it and talk about how it was if I get down there for the rally. But now, I don't really have a lot to really talk about for one reason, because as I mentioned, I've been here and we've been doing so much, I guess, stuff as far as getting things together with the truck and with the company. And so I haven't been paying attention to too much. So, but there's like one thing that I wanted to mention about that I saw today. But also I want to touch a little bit on this whole thing about Saudi Arabia. I mean, obviously I'm not going to get into all the details about what's going on, but as of right now, you have a journalist from the Washington Post who was, don't want to say that he has been murdered because really we don't have much evidence of it. I would say he disappeared. We haven't seen him. Let's put it that way. Odds are he probably has been, but we don't know. And because this happened in Turkey and at the Saudi consulate over there, if I'm not mistaken. So, but the thing about this is this whole international incident has kind of really shined a light on the United States relationship with Saudi Arabia, and also kind of brought up as far as it brought in the world of professional wrestling into it as well. Now, also, if you don't know, I know I don't mention it all the time, but I am a wrestling fan, so I know about this event the WWE is having in Saudi Arabia on the 1st of November, the 2nd of November. And it's like this huge event that they got going on over there. So it's like the worst timing for this event to be going on and have this story about this journalist that is going on right now. But one thing I have that I'm thinking about as far as this, for one, the media have really glorified Jamal. I'm just gonna call him Jamal. Look, I'm not even gonna try to mention his last name. If I had more time, if I've actually paying a lot more attention to this story, I probably would be able to pronounce it, but I'm not. So let's just call him Jamal. So Jamal was over there, and like I said, what has happened to him, we don't know with all certainty right now. But the story about him has been very, very glorified and making it seem like he's just it's this knight in shining armor type, which when you know about some of his history, mainly just talking about him being friendly with the Muslim Brotherhood, which it seems like a lot of the leftist media tends to really have no problem with, I guess. But I mean, that, and also just one thing I would think is that the reason why he is so revered is because he was so anti-Trump. He was a very vocal critic of President Trump. So So that right there is enough. Regardless of anything else he has done, none of that matters. The fact that he is such a critic of the president, that right there is enough for the media to put him on a pedestal and to totally disregard anything shady about the man. So, but none of that justifies him being murdered. So let me just say that. If he has been murdered, and if the reports have been going on about him being chopped up and all that, if all that is true, none of that justifies him that happening to him. But what I'm saying is that the media is not painting a complete picture about him. But like I said, we're going to find more about it. And I think the people who are trying to pressure like WWE from stopping this event, I don't agree with that, mainly because I kind of agree with the president, and as far as let's get some answers. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get any clear answers ever about this, honestly, because this happened over in Turkey, and who knows if we're ever going to get the complete story. And I honestly doubt we will. But I don't think this particular incident should affect everything that is going on with the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Now, look, you could point to a lot of other things as well, and those are more valid points than this particular incident right now with Jamal. So if you want to go on to those other issues, okay, because like they're talking about as far as how far behind the times Saudi Arabia is, as far as, you know, women just now getting the privilege to drive and all that. You know, if you want to mention all those other issues, go, you know, have at it. But until we find out more about this, and once again, like I said, we might not ever find out everything about this, what happened to him. So I think it would be too much of a knee-jerk reaction to just throw everything away based on this one story. So I said I only had a little bit about that, but here I am. I think that was about 10 minutes. Anyway, but yeah, that's all I have on that, and I'm gonna get to a little more of a lighthearted story after a word from our friends from the Founding Project.
Hello to fans of Trend Chat and Brian Bledsoe. The Founding Project, an education nonprofit dedicated to civics, invites you to visit our brand new website. Visit us at thefoundingproject.com. Be a part of the civics movement with the Founding Project. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
This is Dana Lash, and you're listening to Trend Chat.
Yeah, so another thing I came across was I saw a story about Keira Knightley, the actress. If you don't know, I mean, maybe you don't. I mean, I know she was in Pirates of the Caribbean and for a couple of films, and actually I remember her from a film called Domino, which that's yeah. I remember that movie. That was a pretty good movie. I mean, it's pretty racy for my taste, especially now. I mean, back then I didn't care, but I just remember from that role. Anyway, she's saying that she doesn't want to, I guess, read fairy tales about Cinderella and the Little Mermaid to her children and whatnot, because it's like misogynistic and it's just toxic masculinity and all the, you know, the feminist terms that they want to bring up about, you know, anything. Now, the funny part that I saw today is another actress, Kristen Bell, who played in the if anyone listening that have small kids know about Frozen, So she played in Frozen, and she brought up about Snow White, and that I guess she finds the story of Snow White problematic, and she was saying in I guess in an interview, I don't know, it was in an article that I was reading, that one thing that she brought up is she found that, like she found it problematic about the prince kissing Snow White against her consent. Which, if you know the story of Snow White, well, for one, she was asleep, and because she ate the poisonous apple, and so the prince had to come in and kiss her for her to wake and all that. Anyway, Kristen Bell found that that's so troubling, and I found it funny because she tell her children that, well, isn't it wrong for the prince to kiss the Snow White against her consent? And that's what she's teaching them about this fairy tale. And it's funny because I was thinking, look, I am not saying I want this to happen to her, but I'm saying if at any time that Kristen Bell, for some reason, let's say for instance, she needs CPR, and she's unconscious, she's just laying there, somebody's going to have to do mouth to mouth. Going by her logic, I guess she just wants you to leave her there and die. Going by her logic. Because she wants to give her consent. So, hey, if you see it, I'm just saying, what I would say, disregard what she said. I would say do it anyway, and, whatever the consequences of saving her life happens, I guess you just have to just do it because it would just be the right thing to do. But even though she wouldn't want you to do it, but still, I would understand if someone didn't help her because she's laying there unconscious, and she needs CPR, she needs mouth to mouth, but you're like, what? But I don't have her consent. So what can I do? I guess we can just let her lie there. I would say that's the wrong thing to do, but that's her logic. That's what she wants. She wants to give her consent before anybody do anything to her. And it seems like, so, okay, all right. And if that happens, she has no one else to blame but herself. And any other, these feminists and these woke folks that have these train of thought, when this is taken to basically to the extreme, to a case to where you may not have an opportunity to give your consent or whatever, and then someone don't do anything to help you, well, that's the environment that you have created. And so I guess whatever happens, happens. So anyway, that's that was like I said, that was the only two things I had. So, but you know what? That's great because it gives us plenty of time to have our interview with Dominique Deon. So after a word from Politichicks, we'll have our interview with Dominique. There we go. Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat. Also contributor at Politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, a Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at Politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Politics and other stuff, maybe. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
Hello, this is Trend Chat, and we are pleased to have Dominique Deon with us. She is one of the stars of the movie Gosnell, which came out last week. How you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Now, the character you play in Gosnell, her name is Betty Goodwin. And
Correct.
now, is this character based off a real person or what?
My character is actually based off two women that worked in a clinic, and so they put those two women together and then came up with Betty Goodwin. So she has two sides to her, basically.
Okay, and well, as far as those two characters, so they're kind of like a combination, and put into one character to kind of when we're talking about something that is based off a true story. I mean, you have so many different people, so I guess you're like one of the characters where they have to combine a number of people to tell the story. You know.
Yep. Mhm. That's true.
I guess without spoiling anything, but what was her role in everything?
Well, basically, Betty, she worked in the clinic with Dr. Gosnell, and I just felt like basically Betty had a good heart. And I think that's all the details I'll give you. Betty had a good heart, so she did what she thought was right.
All right. Now, one thing, I can't say we met. We was in the same place in Dallas,
but didn't officially meet.
Yeah,
right.
Because we were both at the Dallas screening, and you were there, and I was going to ask you then about doing an interview, but then next thing you know, in the midst of talking with everyone, and just we missed talking to each other, and so but we were both at the screening, and we got a chance to watch the movie, and even there was you can tell that there was a good reception going on towards the film. Now I want to ask you, so now that the movie has been released, how the reception been?
It brings up a lot of discussion between me and friends or me and colleagues because, before the movie, I was actually pro-choice, I didn't really have too much knowledge about abortions. I didn't know it was different kind of abortions. And, I actually decided to take a new leap of faith and, fulfill my purpose in life through Christ. So I just feel like, God is life. And, I just feel like that, that baby has rights. It's a human also. So now I'm pro-life. I'm not pro-choice anymore.
Well, that was going into my next question. I was just about to ask, like, I don't know your views as far as abortion or anything. So I was going to ask, how was the experience in this, in filming this? And I guess I can expand it a little bit more. How was it, for, I guess, the crew or the people that you were with while you was filming?
Now, I must say, the crew, the cast and the crew, that was my first feature film, and they were amazing. They were so nice. I can't even say anything bad. I can't say anything bad about any of the cast or the crew. I actually felt like, we all ended up being family. But as far as the role, when I first got it, I didn't know. I just didn't know. All I can say is I didn't know anything about abortions. I was just like, whatever. I booked the movie, whatever. But then as I got into the role and I'm reading and I'm getting, this knowledge about these abortions, and I realized that I started having a change of heart. And like Betty, her character, it really has some of Dominique in it. I really felt that way about those views. That's how Dominique will feel in real life about abortions. Is exactly how Betty felt.
Yeah, it's funny how you're describing how, I guess, apathetic feeling towards abortion, because that's how I felt for a long time as well, before actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't this, but it was just I said probably like in like '07 where I finally had my eyes open to what really is going on when we're talking about abortion, basically talking about murdering babies, which that's something I did not even it didn't comprehend to me at that time until then. Now I noticed in some of the scenes you were filmed with Dean Cain and Alfonso Rachel, and we had him on last week. And so how was it? How was it filming with them?
I believe that my first scene was with Dean and not Alfonso, but he made me feel really comfortable. He let me know he told me that I was doing really well for my first feature film, and he was just he was helping me through the process. We talked. I got a chance to talk to him. He's a really nice guy. He's a really sweet guy too. And then with Alfonso, he's so funny. He he was making me laugh on set. I just that's why I say it was more family oriented to me. That's how I felt. But with Alfonso, he made me feel comfortable also, and he made me laugh. That's why Alfonso's a funny guy. He made me laugh on set.
So for someone that is taking part in their first feature film, I mean, I don't even know like how that whole experience. First thing is, how did the role even come to you?
So I had a Dallas agent at the time, and this is the funny thing. So I was practicing one way with my mom, right? I'm practicing over and over how I'm about to do this audition. I was ready, and then so I got to the audition, and I was like, Dominique, just go in there and just talk to the guy. Just who is ever the reader, just go in there and just talk to him. And so I went in, and I originally auditioned for another young lady in the movie, which was I can't think of her name, but I auditioned for another role, and so I was so comfortable within my first audition. The casting director asked me to go out and read for another role, so I actually got a bigger role that I didn't even audition for because I did such a great job in the audition.
Oh, wow. Okay, and then so from there, then they say you got the role, and then you go on set, and I mean that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what happened?
No, I was just about to say from there, I actually forgot about the audition because sometimes as actors we get into worrying about if we get the role, especially when you're just starting out. So with this specific role, I just forgot about the idea. I was like, I did it, and then I left. I didn't think about the audition anymore, and I can't remember how long it was, but I want to say it was probably like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later or something. It could have even been a month. I can't really remember. But my agent called me and told me I got the role, and I was like, for what? She was like, Gosnell. And when I tell you my sister was recording me, I got up and started running through my mom's house. I was screaming. I just could not believe, because I set out a 5-year plan that I wanted to be in my first feature film by the time I was 26, I believe, and I was 24 when I filmed that. Yeah, I was 24. So I was running through the house, jumping for joy. I couldn't believe it. Even when I got to set, I didn't let them know that, I tried to act like I was, professional. But in the inside, I was very excited. I couldn't believe that that was my first feature film. That you had your own, well, I had my own trailer, and then it had Betty Goodwin on the door. And, yeah.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that is something else. And yeah, I mean, like I said, to have your first feature film and to get the role, then like I said, then to go on set and everything. I mean, wow, that's amazing.
And that was the first movie that I ever auditioned for.
Wow. Wow.
First SAG movie. Yeah, that's how God works.
Oh yes, that's definitely true in that. I mean, wow, that is something. So, well, now that that the film has been released, so what else? I mean, what's next for you?
Well, right now, since I just moved to Atlanta, Georgia, I'm currently looking for representation in Atlanta to get in all the work that's out here. There's so much work out here. So I've been in acting classes right now, and I'm looking forward to getting an agent down here. That's my next move. And I did a horror film, horror series a few weeks ago. It's coming out on Amazon Prime. It's called Vault of Terrors. So that was fun filming that. That was my first horror series. So, yeah.
Now, given that this movie has been made and it's out there now, and I guess one question. It's actually an unfortunate question that I feel like I need to ask. But given with the nature of this film, and even with your own personal story, do you think that there will be any sort of backlash? Unfortunately, but I'm just thinking maybe because of that, people may hold that against you.
No, I don't think they will. Talent is talent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever my views are, that's how I feel. Or, I mean, we all not going to agree on certain topics or discussions, but talent is talent, and I feel like I am a great actor, and I will get more roles whether I did this film or not, because I stood up for what was right, and right, that's how I feel.
Yeah, and and like I said, it's unfortunate, but I feel like even with the people, even what happened with Dean Cain, had people like going after him and all that, and just because of a difference of opinion, which is unfortunate.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we all not gonna agree, and I hate that happened to Dean, because he's a good, like I said, I was on set with him. He's a great person. Now, his views can be his views. We probably don't agree on a lot of stuff. He probably like one football team and I like another. That doesn't mean I don't like him.
Yeah.
Or I gotta go off on him. So, yeah, it's just crazy to me. And I try to stay out of, politics and all of that, because I have I know that I have my own views and people have their views. But that does not mean that we can't get along or we can't, work together or anything of that nature.
That's absolutely right. And, I would just say I hope the best for you, and I hope that sooner or later we'll see you on the big screen again. On
How you feel?
All right. Well, you can't tell us other than, I know you told us about some other things, but anything else?
About the movie, or are you saying upcoming?
Oh, upcoming movies.
Oh, no, not at the moment.
Okay. I'm not going to push it. So, if people want to get in contact with you on social media, where do they go?
On Facebook or Instagram. I don't really be on Twitter. I have one, but I don't tweet it. I have tweeted in 2 years. But my name is Dominique Deon on all social media outlets.
All right, Dominique, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up? This is Kaya Jones, and you're listening to me here at Trend Chat.
Yep, and thanks to Dominique for joining us. And again, okay, was that enough to get you to go see Gosnell? So, and, like she mentioned about changing from being pro-choice to being pro-life. And as I mentioned in the interview, I was very apathetic. I didn't think twice about what was going on when you mentioned the word abortion or what it actually meant. But it's definitely, it's not something that I'm not proud of, to know that I totally ignored that for years. But now that I know, and now that we have films like this, like Gosnell, and have organizations like Human Coalition and Live Action and Human Defense Initiative and and on that are out here advocating for life. So, like I said again, by now I'm guessing you're probably tired of me talking about Gosnell. This is like the 3rd episode, but hey, look, I talked about Brett Kavanaugh for like 3 or 4 episodes. So hey, and I feel like this is a lot more important than a seat at the Supreme Court, even though that could mean a lot as well, especially in this particular issue. So anyway, again, thanks to Dominique for joining us. And like I said, this is unusually short. But that being said, I appreciate everyone listening. And I honestly do not know what we have for next week. Normally for the past couple of weeks, we knew who we were going to have on. And so that was actually kind of cool, to where we knew who we were going to have on, so we could even kind of put it in the videos saying that, okay, no, someone's going to be on next week. Next week, maybe we'll know something by Sunday or Saturday. I don't know. But as of right now, we don't know. But I'm pretty sure we'll be on. And I'm 99% sure we'll be somewhere else. And I know one thing, especially if I make it to the rally in Houston on the 22nd, I definitely will have something to talk about then. But even if I don't make that, I'm pretty sure I have something. So again, I appreciate everyone listening. And I guess until maybe Tuesday or Thursday, we'll chat with you later.